Hi guys, and welcome back to Movies That Matter with the Viking. And today, let's do something a little bit of fun and do a Q&A. So I asked for some questions to be sent in through my social media. Anything you wanted to ask, personal or movies, and I got some good responses and some good questions. Let's get into it. On Instagram, I was asked by Craig Mahoney 513. You think that Zack Snyder's vision will come, and will Zack Snyder make any new plans in case of Flashpoint to make a different DCU? Okay, the first part of that question, Zack's vision to come. Um, I think that we will see the Snyder Cut, definitely. I think it will be released. Will Zack be allowed to go back and shoot more additional scenes? After listening to what Harry Lennox had to say, he said he didn't know anything. He didn't give anything away, but I think he knows more than he's letting on to be. I think he knows that Zack plans on shooting an additional scene of Martian Manhunter, and he's going to play that character. So I think that Zack will get his film released through all of our support and our hard work and dedication and positivity. I think it will happen. I don't know if it'll be released in HBO Max or released in the cinemas. I don't know, but I think it's coming. Will get additional scenes. I think that will happen too. I really do. But also the other part of that question: will Zack make a new plan in case of the Flashpoint, and a different DCU? I think if the Snyder Cut does come, I don't think it's going to change the future of the DCU and the plans that Warner Brothers have. It's a difficult one to say because it depends how well the film is received. If the film comes out and it's absolutely brilliant, it's a great film, and it's received across the board as this unbelievable Justice League film, then there's a possibility that Zack might be brought back to do more DCU films and create a more of a plan. Would Zack want to come back? I don't know. But I think it depends how the film is received. If it comes out and it does really, really well in terms of reviews and buzz and social media buzz and all that, I think there's a possibility that Zack would come back to do more DCU films. Or maybe Warner Brothers right now, they're not too worried about a DC cinematic universe where everything links together. Maybe they just want to plan and make films in this world, but don't have everything connected or too on the nose. Just make great films like The Joker. Aquaman was very good. Things like that. I don't think the decision that Zack makes with his additional scenes will have any impact on what happens in the Flash film. I think that script is ready to go. It's ready to shoot. I think whatever's going to happen in that film is going to happen, and that's the way that the DC will go forward and Warner Bros. Will go forward. But at the minute, continuity doesn't really matter in the DCU. We've seen that with Birds of Prey and what they're doing, and different characters not returning and the way they've done things. So I don't think at the minute the DCU is as connected as it once was. I think these films are going to come out and they will be on their own to a certain extent. The Batman film that's coming is not related to the DCU at all. It's a different actor portraying Batman. It's a different direction altogether. It takes place outside the DCU, from what I can gather from the information that we've been given. So I think the plan from Warner Bros. At the minute is to just make DC films and don't have them really connected that much. Make sequels on the successful ones. And if Zack Snyder comes out with a great Justice League film, I think, and it's received well, I think he will get more DCU films through support from the fans. Next question comes from Omari Daniels on Vero. What precisely announced DCU film would you like to see actually be developed? I would like to see Steven Spielberg's Black Hawk film or Chris McKay's Nightwing. Now with this question, is it a film that was announced already by Warner Bros. In that slate? If so, remember the big slate that Warner Bros. Released of all the upcoming films coming through the years? Cyborg solo film, Flash solo film, Aquaman, things like that. Out of that list we were given, that's a tough one. I'm going to say that the Snyder Cut's coming anyway, so let's just say that's coming. What other film I'd like to see? Definitely, I think the potential of a directed Batman by Ben Affleck would have been unbelievable. Ben Affleck is a brilliant Batman. He's a brilliant director. You know, films like Argo, things like that. He knows how to write stories as well. He is very talented, and I was really looking forward to seeing his Batman film, especially the Batman that we've seen in BVS. I wanted to see more of that Batman. I wanted to see more of his background, his history, what made him the way he is. what happened in his past that has him so fucked up in BVS. I was hoping to see something more to do with what happened with Robin and him go up against other villains in the on his rogue gallery in the Batman film. And I think it was Jay Olivia. He was the director of the Dark Knight Returns Part One and Part Two, the animated film, and he said that it was one of the best Batman scripts he's ever read in his life, and it was unbelievable. And I think some of the rumors were before that the film was Batman in Arkham Asylum, and he has to go through all of Arkham Asylum to get to someone he's looking for at the end or something like that. But it sounded really cool, and he'd come up against all his villains throughout comic book history, and he'd go up against them and fight and things like that. So that had the potential of being really great. It's disappointing as a DC, as a comic book movie fan, that we're not going to see that. And I'm sure if all went the way it was supposed to be, Ben Affleck would still be Batman if it wasn't for Warner Brothers changing up Justice League and meddling with his script that we heard reports of as well from Jeff Johns and other guys involved. I think Ben Affleck would still be there, and then stuff in his personal life kind of just led to him being pushed away. I'd also like to see a Cyborg film with Ray Fisher. I think he deserves one. I think he's a very talented actor. I really like him. He's probably the best part of the Justice League film that we've seen. The Joss Whedon Justice League film, a terrible film, but I think he's probably the best part in it. Very good. And some of the stills that we've seen from Zack about Cyborg in Justice League, there's an entire different film, entire different background, everything got to do with Cyborg in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I really want to see more of him. I think a solo film of him would be very unique, be very fresh. I think it would be a cross between Terminator, RoboCop, Judge Dredd, I said before, take traits from those different characters and stories and make a really cool cyborg film like we've never seen before, and that would be awesome. Also of a DC film that was announced years ago and was this close to shooting was the Nicolas Cage Superman film with Tim Burton. Now a lot of people say thank God that didn't happen, and thank God we never got to see that film. Of course we got to see looks of Nicolas Cage in the suit, and to me he looks good. The long hair, I don't know if he would have kept that for the film or not, but he looks good in the suit. And people say, oh thank God it didn't happen. For me, I would have loved to see that Nicolas Cage version of Superman, especially with Tim Burton. There was a lot of hate around when Tim Burton was announced director of the Batman, but not so much for him directing, but more of his casting choices. Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Michael Keaton as the Batman. And we see how that film turned out and how good that was and how great of a Batman Michael Keaton is. Some people today say he's the best Batman of all time. He was the most personify the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman. So if Tim Burton was able to get that right, then why wouldn't he have been able to get Nicolas Cage right as the Superman? So that's a film that I'd love to go to an alternate universe and see happen. Next question. This comes from Jack Leto on Vero. What's your take on the possibility of Zack shooting extra scenes for his Justice League once we're out of the woods with this pandemic? I think it will happen, as I said before in the earlier question. I think we will get scenes with additional scenes of Zack Snyder's Justice League. When he posted that picture, he wanted to do additional scenes with Superman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Martha Kent, was it? Lois Lane, I think. So there seems to be a few scenes in that. We don't know exactly what those scenes are. The one scene that we do know that he wants to go back and shoot is the scene that he never got to shoot with Harry Lennox. That's when Lois Lane is talking to Martha Kent over a cup of coffee. They're probably discussing Clark and different things like that. Lois Lane leaves. Martha Kent sees her out. Then when Lois Lane's walking away, the camera is on Martha Kent and it shows that, and then Martian Manhunter comes out. So it shows that Martian Manhunter was in disguise as Martha Kent, and then he goes back to his Harry Lennox form as the general, so that even that scene pretty cool. That would probably be a 2 to 3 minute, maybe 4 minute scene. Also additional Superman scenes, Batman scenes. Hard to know exactly what those scenes would be, but it's very interesting and very exciting. And if it is announced, or if Zack gets to go back and shoot more scenes, it's going to be really exciting to see what happens with that. So yeah, I think we will see. I think the Snyder Cut is coming. I think we will see additional scenes being made. This comes on Twitter from @kinky evil Carmen. cool name. Favorite scene from Joker and Birds of Prey. Ooh, Joker, brilliant film. Favorite scene from Joker, very hard to choose from because it's a very good film. I suppose the transformation of him from Arthur Fleck to the Joker. So he's in his house, in his room. He is putting on his white he's putting on his white face paint. He's dyeing his hair green. We have Frank Sinatra in the background, is it? And that's life. Is that in the background of that scene? And yeah, so he's there, and this is his transformation from Arthur Fleck to the Joker. He's gone through one last straw. He's getting ready to go to the Robert De Niro talk show, and then the doorbell rings, and his two former work colleagues come in. I forget their names now, but they come in, and the big guy is trying to get him to make sure he doesn't stand by him giving him the gun. Or did the police come by and talk to him and things like that? And then Arthur stabs him in the neck, and blood everywhere, and continues to stab him. Now you might think Movies That Matter with the Viking is a bit sadistic now to have that as his favourite scene, but we get to see him. From earlier in the film, he has no confidence whatsoever. This is the first time we really get to see him with some confidence, with some swagger. He does that, he continues getting ready, and then he walks out into the elevator and then onto the staircase. So I say those two scenes, that whole scene, that 5 or 6 minutes when the doorbell rings and he's putting on his face paint, he's getting his green hair, to when the guys come in, kills them, and then he lets out his so-called friend because he was nice to him, and then we get to see him in the hallway go down to the steps and dancing. So that whole sequence is my favourite scene in The Joker. And Birds of Prey, I haven't seen Birds of Prey since I seen it in cinemas. I have it here actually. I meant to rewatch it. Favorite scene, I really enjoyed the Black Mask nightclub scene. So he's there and he's having a good time himself. He gets some bad news. He looks over, he sees someone dancing on the table, a girl dancing on the table. He goes over and absolutely rips into her. And I like that because it shows the character of Black Mask is very evil. He's a bad man. He goes from happy-go-lucky, having a good time, to evil, sadistic man that will kill you without even a blink of his eye, So I really like that scene. I also like the fight scene with Black Canary when she comes out and she saves Harley Quinn. That was some good action scene there. So yeah, they're my two favourite scenes. Black Mask was absolutely brilliant in Birds of Prey, and I don't think he's dead. I think just like the Joker, Harley Quinn is it's not the most reliable of narrators. So I think if they want in a Birds of Prey 2 or a Harley Quinn 2 or 3, Black Mask could definitely come back. Next question is from Medwise Son on Twitter. Warner Brothers never say that they released the Snyder Cut, but it looks like it's happening. Do you think that over the success of the Snyder Cut, they could let Zack finish his Justice League story on HBO Max, considering Warner Media is another division? Money talks, right? Right, so Warner Brothers hasn't really released the Snyder Cut. Well, they've acknowledged the community a good bit in terms of board members and people who work with the company, liking tweets and things like that. Zack's success, if the film is a success, like I said, will we get to see Zack's vision continued? It's very tricky to say. That's the most important word that you used, success. It has to be a success for us to continue with Zack's version. If there's an entire fan base there looking for Zack's vision, if new people, average go audiences, see the film and it's great and all this and they really enjoy it and critics are buzzing about it already has this massive buzz without even being released. So an example I use is, right, so Avengers Endgame, the biggest movie of all time, came out last April. Yeah? It's an okay film. Infinity War is better. But anyway, the biggest film of all time. How many people, or how much discussions, how much daily news articles are talked about Endgame? All I seen for months after with Endgame was the directors explained this, the directors explained that, the directors explained this. That's all we seen. It wasn't about how deep the story was, how unique, this was pretty cool. People don't really talk about it that much nowadays. You know, um, Zack Snyder's Justice League supposedly came out 2 years ago, nearly going to be 3 years now in November, and people are still talking about it. People are still talking about a film that already came out. You know, it already came out. It wasn't his film, but it came out. Justice League came out, and people still talk about it. They go onto any news site daily now, and there's some discussion about the Snyder Cut or some picture that Zack releases, it gets this huge buzz. So imagine the film came out and it was a huge success. Imagine if it got this big buzz. People couldn't stop raving about it. Are Warner Brothers willing to let this good thing go? Are they willing to let all this buzz, all this attraction towards Warner Brothers, towards DC, towards their Justice League members just go away? You know, are they just going to end it like that, the way Zack was intended to end Justice League? You know, that's some big calls to make from Warner Brothers. Will we get to see it on HBO Max? I will say that through this whole pandemic, HBO Max is supposed to launch in May. Is it going to do well? Do people have the money to go and get another subscription when they probably already have Netflix, when they might have Amazon, Hulu, Disney Plus, things like that? Can they afford to get another streaming service like HBO Max? I've looked at the slate for the HBO Max lineup, and there's some good things on it, but there's nothing to get too excited for. You know, Disney Plus have all the Marvel, all the Star Wars films, and more stuff coming. Netflix have a wide variety of things, so do Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime have actually a very good lineup of shows and films. I don't have Hulu, so I don't know exactly what's on that. But do HBO Max, does it have the attraction that it needs for people to come and buy it? I don't think it does. I think if you put a Zack Snyder's Justice League on it, I think that brings in a whole new attraction to it straight away. This never before seen director's cut of Batman, of Superman, of Wonder Woman. You know, you're talking big things there, especially now when people have nothing to do, when they're stuck at homes. You don't tell me that. I see Trolls made 25 million on digital copy on digital there. It was supposed to go out in cinemas. They changed it and put it online. It made 25 million. Imagine what a Zack Snyder's Justice League film would make. Man, it would be ridiculous. You know, Avengers Endgame came out in DVD or out in Blu-ray or on digital, and it made 30 million in its opening weekend. For a film that was already seen by people, 30 million on its opening weekend, and the second weekend it made 9 million. So look, there is an audience for a movie like that, definitely. Batman vs Superman Blu-ray sales made 90 million. I don't know what it made digitally, but there you go. There is an audience there for it. You can make money back. If Zack Snyder's Justice League cut is 25, or if his additional scenes are going to cost another 25 million, which I don't believe it could, because he's still the same man that made 300 for on a ridiculously low budget, and that film looks like it cost millions and millions. But I think there is a chance for Zack to finish his vision in theaters if this film is a success. Maybe on HBO Max. I don't think a Justice League film. I don't think you get Ben Affleck and them to come back for maybe a streaming service film, maybe him Ron. But I think it could get him back in the door to do more DC films. Definitely. Next question comes from Nicolito 219 on Twitter. What part of Zack Snyder's Justice League are you most excited to see besides the entire film? Good question. I'm going to say Ben Affleck as Batman. I want to see more of his scenes, because considering this is going to be his last time as the Batman, he probably won't come back to be Batman again. So any scene really with Ben Affleck's Batman, because it's going to be quite emotional seeing this is his last time as Batman. We don't want his last time to be Batman as in what we've seen, you know, the puffy face and just the one-liners and stuff like that. Brings you back to the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin days. You know, let's leave them in the past. But I definitely want to see Ben Affleck back as Batman. Another Doomsday. See that theme? There's supposed to be a part 2 of the Doomsday scene. I'd like to see that. I don't know if it's Batman taking on more parademons or what's going on in that, but I'd like to see another Doomsday scene. That was pretty cool. I'd also like to see more scenes of the Flash use his because the Flash we got in Justice League in cinemas isn't the Flash we were supposed to get. I want to see more of his witty humor and things like that, and using his Speed Force a little bit more. So that would be pretty cool. And of course, I want to see Superman in the black suit. Definitely. Zack said that he has the black suit for most of the film, so kind of doesn't line up to some of the scenes that we've seen that were released, supposedly Snyder Cut scenes. So it's hard to know if it's going to be the black suit, for why he's wearing the black suit and things like that. But I see the black suit definitely. Next question comes from JumpX on Twitter. Your opinion on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, the old ones, the Michael Bay ones, and the reboot. Okay, so a big part of my childhood was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series. I've probably seen all the episodes, enjoyed them, big part of my childhood, things like that. I've seen the old films. I know there's the 3 old films. I haven't seen them in years, so I can't really remember which one is which. I actually have them here, so I may rewatch them and get back to you. But all I do is I remember being okay, being cool. I really enjoyed them. Nothing wrong with it at all. And then the Michael Bay ones that came out a few years ago, they were okay. I enjoyed the first one a little bit more. Thought the first one was very good. Second one was a bit of a letdown. It was a bit of a drop in quality. And then the reboot that's coming. Yeah, I'm excited to see the reboot. Of course, I would have liked them to continue the characters that we've seen in the Michael Bay ones, because I thought the animation or the CGI, whatever they use, I thought it was very good, and I thought the turtles looked good. So I don't know where they're going to go in direction with the new one, what way they're going to make them look, or what kind of origin, how they're going to change the origin story, or what kind of new actors they're going to have in it. But yeah, the old ones, from what I can remember, I enjoyed them. The animated series I loved. The first Michael Bay one was good. The second one was okay. But I'm still, as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, I'm also a Power Rangers fan. I'm looking forward to the reboot of that and the Power Rangers, and I can't wait. So, last question today, and a very good question from Mercury in Retro1, good friend of mine on Twitter. He says, top 3 Marvel movies, MCU and other, and top 3 Snyder or non-Snyder DC films. So, top 3 Marvel films. Okay. Logan, Hugh Jackman's last portrayal as the Wolverine, directed by James Mangold. Look, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. He's one of my favourite characters of all time. It's because of him that I love the character called Wolverine. I'm interested to see who the next Wolverine will be, but for me, forever, Hugh Jackman is the man. Logan is a brilliant, dark, noir, western, comic book movie. I wouldn't even call it a comic book movie. The only comic book elements of it is that he has claws. It's a great, grounded film. It's a well-made film, kind of in the vein of Shane, which is used in the film, and the ending is partly the same. Also, Unforgiven, starring Clint Eastwood. So it takes things from old Western movies and puts them into this, and uses elements from comic book material. Really enjoy it. Daphne Keane is absolutely brilliant in it. I thought the minute that film ended, Fox should have went into development with an X-23 film, or X-22, 23 film with her as the next Wolverine. She's still my pick to be the next Wolverine, but I don't think Disney are going to go ahead with the old cast. Patrick Stewart, of course, will forever be Charles Xavier, even though James McAvoy does a great job. Absolutely brilliant. But Logan is one of them. Great film. I watched it last week again. The score, the cinematography, acting, brilliant. For me, it's the best Marvel film ever made, and that includes the MCU. So another Marvel film that I love, top 3, is Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Octopus. For me, again, Tobey Maguire is going to always be my Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was great, but a better script, he could have been better. I think Tom Holland has the acting chops to be a very good Spider-Man, but I don't think he's going to be able to stretch his acting chops with Disney, with the MCU. I've yet to see Far From Home. I have it here as well. I may watch it. I have a lot of stuff to watch. Homecoming, it's okay. It's more of an Iron Man, Spider-Man film. It's not like an entire Spider-Man film. But back to Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire. Brilliant film, brilliant action scenes. The reason I love the old trilogy of Spider-Man is because it feels very real in emotions. We don't get that now in the MCU films. The elements and the pressure and the struggle that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man goes through. He's not only Spider-Man trying to defend the whole entire city against bad people, trying to save lives every day. That's a big burden to have. But he also is trying to get the love of his life. You know, he can't tell her that he loves her because in fear of what will happen if someone finds out. He's trying to look after his aunt. You know, he's trying to have a job. He's trying to go to college. All of these other elements kind of weigh down Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man more than him actually being Spider-Man. You know, he can go and he can beat up a million bad guys and capture people, but it's always the people around him who lift him up and also drag him down the way because he can't tell them everything. I love that element. I think the acting is brilliant. The interaction with the characters is brilliant. From even Spider-Man 3, but all three films together, it really is, for me, the true essence of Spider-Man. People saying he's too old, he's too this. I don't care about that. I care about how he acts, how he takes on the struggle that he has. And for me, the Spider-Man films do that, but Spider-Man 2 especially, the action is brilliant. You wouldn't think, looking back, and I know there's some dodgy CGI things, but man, it was made in 2004, you know, so still holds up to this day. I still watch it and I still enjoy it. I always wanted Tobey Maguire to come back and do a Spider-Man 4, but that'll never happen. But yeah, so another Marvel movie that I love is X-Men Days of Future Past. I really like that film. I know the continuity in the X-Men films isn't that great. You know, you go from 3 with Charles dying and he's in Logan and different things like that, X-Men Origins, Wolverine. But to use the cast from First Class, to use the original cast and then put them together to make a time traveling film, man, that could have went really, really wrong. That could have ended up being absolutely terrible. They could have lost millions and millions on a budget, and the box office could have been poor, but it was a success. And it was a very good film. And I seen it. I was in America. I was in New York, and I went to go see it. And I came out and I said, you know what, that was a really, really cool film. I really enjoyed that. I also have a big respect for the X-Men Fox films because they take risks. They don't kind of stick to a formula. They do weird things. They, some teams work, some teams don't. But X-Men Days of Future Past is brilliant. Really good story, really good action. The emotion shown by Charles, through James McAvoy, through Patrick Stewart. Then you have got Logan there. You got the old cast. It really is very good. Michael Fassbender is a brilliant Magneto. So Days of Future Past is definitely another one of my favourites. If I was to pick 3 MCU films, just to be respectful to the MCU as its own universe, I'd probably go with Iron Man 1, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Avengers Infinity War. Very good film. I was let down by what they did in Endgame. But those three films, very good. Very first Iron Man, brilliant. Great action, set pieces in The Winter Soldier, and then Infinity War is this big ultimate film with all the big superheroes, but the villain wins in the end. And I really liked that and admired that, and that's why I was looking forward to this redemption arc in Endgame. And for me, I was let down as a fan. But anyway, thanks for all the questions. I really enjoy doing Q&As. Really enjoyed answering your questions. If you got any other questions that you want to ask, and I'll do another Q&A, put them in the comments below. If not, follow me on Twitter at MovieBuff100. Follow me on Instagram at MovieBuff10. And also follow me on Vero at SeanMatter97, I think it is. And when I put up even if I put up random posts, put in a comment saying Q&A question, and I'll definitely answer it, and I'll get to it, and we'll do a new Q&A. So don't be afraid to ask questions about films, personal life, anything like that. Until next time, guys, enjoy, stay safe, see ya.